Hey, there we go. Now you can hear me. I'm digital anchor Brady Smith. Thank you for hanging with me for like 15 seconds of no audio. We're talking about this today. You probably didn't even need me to explain what's happening over here. So we're going to dive into the history of the Houston Oilers, the Tennessee Titans, and the Houston Texans, and get your take on Oilers Tribute Weekend being held in Nashville. Yeah. So weigh in. Let me know what your immediate reaction is to this. Just seeing the oil derrick there. I haven't rooted for the Texans my whole life. I moved from the West Coast. I actually didn't really have an NFL team because I'm from Oregon. I refused to root for the Sea Chickens. And my dad always rooted for the Rams. My uncle rooted for the 49ers, so I couldn't root for either one of those, right? Always had to pick a fight and root for the other team. So until I moved to Houston, I didn't have a team to really get behind. So the Texans are kind of my team. I don't have any history with the Oilers. I know so many of you do, though, and that is why this is striking a nerve. We'll say it. That's the nice way of saying it. All right. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up all my stuff on here. Okay, so this all started with this video, this little tribute video. Okay, Colts versus Titans. Okay, but then the Luv Ya Blue and the oil derrick, people on the internet did not take kindly to that. Folks who are diehard Oilers fans who love the team, who would have loved to see it stay in Houston. They feel a certain way. Some tweets I wanted to share with you from our sports team. Daniel Gutierrez says, well, this is all kinds of terrible. And Jason Bristol tweeted, this is going to fire up the Houston people. That it did, including John Lopez. He says the Titans have no right using the oil derrick as its avatar, nor having a Luv Ya Blue day. He says that is truly blasphemous, not exaggerating. He says, get a life of your own, Titans. And he doesn't stop there. He says the Titans having a Luv Ya Blue day in Nashville is like New Orleans having Mardi Gras in Albuquerque. And here is what Oilers quarterback Dan Pastorini had to say.
I think it's admirable that Amy's reaching out and trying to, keep the Luv Ya Blue alive. But, ever since they left, Luv Ya Blue has stayed in Houston, Texas. Luv Ya Blue was born here in Houston, Texas. It stays here in Houston, Texas. Because when the rest of us die off, the Luv Ya Blue legend and the Luv Ya Blue feelings in the hearts of all those fans remain.
And judging by what we've seen on social media, a lot of folks agree with Dan Pastorini there. So I'm going to hop over on Facebook and see what some of your comments are so far. Again, please keep it respectful. We want to have a respectful dialogue about this. But Anwar says they have the legal rights and the lack of imagination to create something new. Let them. Bless their heart. I like that. Luv Ya Blue is a Houston thing. That's what Mike says. Tina's initial reaction, that's a bunch of not good stuff. Laura says you still don't have a team to stand behind. I know people feel a certain way about the Texans this season, but Roberto says go Rams. Okay, I want to talk about the Rams because the Rams are part of the reason that the Oilers moved. Digging into the history of all this. So I want to bring up this picture. I dug up some old photos that I think you guys will appreciate. So these guys are the founders of the American Football League. And they are Lamar Hunt, Baron Hilton, Harry Wismer, and Bud Adams. Bud Adams, of course, was the owner of the Oilers. They started the American Football League, which eventually merged with the National Football League. But the Oilers were one of the flagship teams of the AFL. Yeah, they won the 60-61 AFL championships. But Bud Adams started complaining about, or threatening to move the team in the late 80s. And then as he was watching the NFL kind of navigate the Rams moving to St. Louis and the conversations that were happening there, he was well versed in what was being offered. And he thought he could get a better deal in Tennessee. So after the 1996 season, the Oilers were in Houston from 1960 to 1996. After the 1996 season, he up and moved the team to, I want to say Memphis was the first 2 years, and they were the Tennessee Oilers, and then after that they moved to Nashville and they were the Tennessee Titans. But to have a Luv Ya Blue Day, well, that's just a little interesting. Some more, I'm gonna have fun with all these photos that I found. These are all from AP Images, but here's Warren Moon and Dan Pastorini. We've got Warren Moon being drafted in 1978. That was the same year Earl Campbell was drafted. Crazy strong team. And Bum Phillips. Of course, everybody knows Bum Phillips. Bum Phillips they're doing a tribute to him. And they even put together this 5-minute video about him. I'm just going to play a little bit of it for you.
Before the game, we were short on manpower, but we were long on guts, and I was damn sure right.
Some cattle you have to drive, and some cattle you have to lead. They're kind of like football players. Some of them you lead, some of them you drive.
They say the harder we played, the behinder we got.
If we just get after Miami tomorrow, like this old pony got after that spear, well, we'll have a heck of a good ball game.
Oh, man. That's a hell of a character searcher there for you.
All right.
That made a man reach and get it. Every man get a man, every good man get two. All right.
Get back, get back, get back, get back, get back.
Get up, get up, get up. Hell back, head on back, head on back.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a kiss. All right. Hell of a run, Ronnie.
Thank you.
No, it's good. How do you feel?
I mean, doesn't that seem a little bit weird for the Tennessee Titans to have a tribute to the coach of a team that isn't them? Didn't play in their city? I don't know. As an outsider, it seems weird. I'm sure as an Oiler fan, it feels a little weird. Going through some more of these comments, Robin says, Luv Ya Blue is definitely and will always be a Houston thing. Cindy says the same thing.
For country music, card games, and congeniality.
Robin says, love my Houston Oilers. Sally says, Luv Ya Blue belongs to Houston. It's a Houston thing only, Jenny says. Carmen says there has to be a way to stop them. That's a Houston thing. Saying, it's a Houston saying, not theirs. Roberto's gonna ask his Houstonian wife how she feels. He was born in New York. But there isn't a way for Houston to stop them. All the rights went along with the team. And so when Bud Adams moved them to Tennessee, all that history went along with it. I don't know. Again, who am I to say? I don't have a dog in this fight, really. but as an outsider, it looks weird. It looks weird. I don't know. That would be like, I was gonna say the only real professional sports team Oregon has is the Blazers. But I suppose the Sonics in Seattle. Have the Thunder ever done any Sonics anything? Ooh, now I want to look that up because that's like the closest thing I can compare it to. And I know there's still a lot of love for the Sonics and a lot of bad blood since the team left. Liz says, "Oh no, they didn't." There's an extra word in there that I can't say with a mic on, but people feel very, very strongly with this or about this. I don't remember in the past them ever doing anything like this though. Using the oil derrick, having a Luv Ya Blue day. I don't know. Sound off. Oh, I got. Robin says she's sad to see the Titans do this. I mean, to say right, where is it? Right there. The official tribute account of the Houston Oilers. Right? Adonis says it's sickening. Dante says they'll never win a Super Bowl until they give us our history back. Ooh, maybe it's a curse. Give Houston its Oilers history back, and I don't know if that's enough to help the Titans. Danelle says there was only one Luv Ya Blue, and it left when the Houston Oilers did. Well, on the topic of the Texans, the team that started playing in 2002, right? They play tonight here in Houston. I had high hopes, as beautiful as the weather is, that they'd open the roof. No. Roof's going to stay closed. Roof's going to stay closed. But Houston did eventually build the new facility, an updated, nicer facility, the one Bud Adams lobbied so hard for. But he did it right after kind of the worst. It had to have been close to, I think they were 3 and something. It was bad. The season when he made that call. It was a bad record. Aw, Sandra said it brings back fond memories of Luv Ya Blue. Eric thinks they're just doing it for attention. The Titans are. Jesse says if the city cares so much about the Oilers, why were there only 20,000 fans in the stadium when they were 2-6 at home? He says no wonder they left. 35-point lead blown in Buffalo. I would lead too. I mean, the city has grown so much since 1996. I mean, we know Texas as a whole has 2 million more people since 2010. You go back another decade and a half. Just how many people cruised in and out of Houston in that time. Eric says he's very vicious when it comes to this subject. Robin says all Bud Adams wanted was a new stadium, and he got it in Tennessee. I still never been to a game there. Marcus Mariota was Oregon's quarterback, Heisman winner, drafted by the Titans. Didn't go particularly well. So I always hoped to go up there and see him. I hoped, actually, boyfriend went to see them play at NRG. That would have been a great game. I did not get to go to that game. That's what I'm bitter about. Not this move so much. But I just wanted to see that matchup. I thought it would be a good one. Anyway. Let's see if there are any more comments. I guess if you had to give a one-sentence message that did not include anything that has to be censored, what would you tell the Titans about this idea, about Oilers Tribute Week, or about using Luv Ya Blue? Yeah, Matt says, remember the Browns moved to Baltimore and became the Ravens, but the team took its rights, its history, along with it. Jesse points out the owner is an Oiler. She owns the Titans, which, Bud's daughter, I believe. She says, when you move to another city, do you leave your pictures and furniture behind? Valid point. But you don't also, I don't know, you don't erase that whole part of your past unless you're in the witness protection program. Mike says, kiss my grits. Love You Blue is Houston, baby, always and forever. Freddie says, go Titans. Mike says, I've got Love Ya Blue logos. I remember Earl Campbell making big runs in the Dome. That was like golden age football, though. I know that the Oilers and Texans record isn't always great, but it is fun. Where are they? Oh. Jason says, it makes me sick every time the Titans do that. Love You Blue will forever be a Houston team. Kayla says, Love You Blue belongs to Houston Oilers. Anthony says it's Houston's history, not Tennessee's. But he says, no way, Houston started that. Michael says, okay, I like this one. You might own the rights, but you don't own my memories. Forever, Love You Blue forever, right here in Houston. Scott moved to Houston and started cheering for the Oilers in '97. Found out they were moving, continued to cheer for them, still does. It's part of the team's history. I'm glad they're recognizing and continue to in this era of their history. Go Titans. What I found interesting when I moved here is how many Cowboys fans there are. I really thought, now I understand that a lot of people move back and forth and all over, but I didn't know the Texans history, the Oilers history. And it feels like that, 6 years without an NFL team, when the Cowboys were at the top of their game, it caused this divide. You know, a lot of people didn't want to root for the Oilers because they'd been pulled out of Houston. So they started rooting for the other professional team in Texas, and that was the Cowboys. And it creates this lifelong fandom. And now, I swear, the city's like half and half. Joy grew up watching the Oilers and loving Love You Blue. They don't know anything about that in Tennessee. Just leave it alone. Love You Blue is a Houston tradition. We rocked out the Dome in baby blue and singing. Titans need to get their own history. I'm going to have to get some Oilers swag. I just like the colors. The history is great too, but I really like the colors. It is creating an interesting conversation, though. The only allegiance I have is to the Oregon Ducks, really, because that's my alma mater. But your college mascot doesn't exactly like just get up and walk away. Different than a professional team. So it's hard for me to put myself in the position of Oilers fans when that move happened. Lydia says, first autograph in my life was from the Oilers. She says, memories galore. That is very cool. Okay, well, I'm going to wrap this up. But I did want you to know that we're going to be using some of these. Here, hold on. Hi. Let's take that bad juju off the screen. We are going to be using some of your comments coming up on the 411 at 4 o'clock on KHOU 11 on TV. Not here where you're watching me, but sorry, I just saw Brian comment about Oregon. Oregon beat the bleep out of the Buckeyes, which was awesome to see. I don't disagree. My boyfriend is a Buckeye fan, and that was retribution. We moved here right before the national championship back in 2015, and I talked some smack. Oh man, did I talk. Not on the way home though. A real quiet drive home, and he knew better than to bring anything up. But yeah. Robin says my ex-husband left to Tennessee when the Oilers left and has been there ever since. Yeah, let him go. Okay, so be sure to tune in for the 411 at 4 o'clock on KHOU. Otherwise, I'll see y'all tomorrow.